Hundreds of employees with the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, began clearing out their offices in Washington Thursday. These employees were fired as part of the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle the agency. Workers were given 15-minute windows to gather their belongings. CBS News spoke to one USAID contractor who was placed on leave in January and officially fired Wednesday.
I've worked with them for 20 years, protecting the American people from bird flu, from Ebola, from Marburg, from Mpox, ensuring that we're countering Chinese influence in East Africa and Southeast Asia. I will have to find a new job. I'll have to find a new career. This is all I have wanted to do since I was 20 years old.
USAID oversees humanitarian development and security programs in more than 120 countries. Some of those programs include disaster relief, fighting food insecurity, and fighting disease. USAID also employs around 10,000 workers worldwide. 90% of those contracts have been terminated. CBS News congressional correspondent Huey-Burns has been following this for us. Caitlin?
Lindsay, we spent most of the morning outside of USAID's offices as a stream of now former USAID workers were led into the building in 15-minute increments to be able to retrieve their belongings from their workspaces. We saw people with suitcases wheeling out all of their belongings. We saw people bringing in reusable grocery bags to collect what was left in their offices. And the overall sentiment that we gleaned from these workers and talking to them was that they really wanted to put a face to the numbers that we've been seeing in terms of fired workers, layoffs across government, and the attempt by Elon Musk and the DOGE committee to shrink the size of government. USAID has been the top target. Take a listen to what one of those former workers told us today.
I've been telling myself I'm not going to cry today because I don't want to give them that satisfaction. I think a lot of hurt and disrespect. The way that this was done was very dehumanizing. You have people who dedicated their entire lives to this, and now you've got 15 minutes to clear out your office. People seem to forget that we're not just faithless bureaucrats, we're actually people who have family, who have plans, who had aspirations, and now I just watched my career plan kind of go up in flames.
Now, the State Department today said that they had canceled nearly 10,000 contracts between the State Department and USAID. About 6,000 of those contracts were through USAID, amounting to over $50 billion worth and a 92% reduction in the work that USAID does. So essentially a dismantling here. As we know, the effort has been to move USAID over to the State Department. But this also comes as the Supreme Court is getting involved here as well. If you remember, the U.S. paused, stopped, froze all foreign aid, and there was a federal court judge that challenged that effort and said, look, the U.S. has to pay out these USAID contracts. It all went all the way to the Supreme Court, and they ruled that they would give a stay to this, give some time, not really ruling on the merits just yet, but give some time to figure this all out. So this gave the Trump administration a short-term victory for now, but we're waiting to see what comes of that. Tomorrow, more USAID workers will be going into that building to retrieve their belongings again, another tranche of workers there, again in those 15-minute increments. And by and large, they are also concerned that this is going to be kind of the roadmap moving forward for other agencies that will come under the microscope of DOGE. Lindsay?
Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you.